Welcome to Two Batches, Season 2. I'm Maria.
And I'm Rosemary.
We have some great new recipes to share with you this year.
And a new feature at the end of each episode called a second glass of rosé. So stick with us to the end.
Amen, sister.
Let's get going. Woo! Two good recipes today.
Two delicious recipes. I am going to make chicken paprikash. It's a Hungarian recipe, but it has chicken and sour cream, paprika, and onions. It's really good.
And I'm going to make a naan, which is a flatbread, and it's a very easy recipe. And I think it's going to, even though it's from a completely different culture, I think it's going to go great with the chicken paprikash and soaking up all that great sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Sounds great. Okay, so for chicken paprikash, I cut up one large onion with a couple tablespoons of vegetable oil, and I'm just gonna cook it till it just starts to soften up. You don't want it browned, you just want it just to cook for a few minutes, and then I have chicken thighs here. I'm going to put the chicken thighs in the pan and brown each side just to get a little color on each side. Okay, so the onions have been cooking just for a couple minutes. They're starting to soften up, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of paprika.
Well, let's see the paprika. Show it.
Hungarian
the
sweet
paprika,
paprika.
not smoky.
Yep.
Not smoky.
So you add 2 tablespoons.
Beautiful color.
And I'm going to stir this up. Okay, so I have all 4 chicken thighs that are in the pan, and they've been browned a little bit. And I am going to just about cover the chicken with water. So, yeah. All right, so the soup has started to boil, and I put a little over 4 cups of water in here, and this is the chicken flavoring, and it's 1 teaspoon per cup. I'm just gonna put 4 teaspoons, and then it is a teaspoon of garlic powder.
Smells good.
And a teaspoon of salt.
Salt sisters.
Salt sisters.
French salt.
And some pepper. Said about a half a teaspoon. So I am going to turn this down to a medium low. Kind of stir it so that the spices get mixed in. And I am going to cover this, and it's going to simmer for a half an hour. Something that's traditionally served with paprikash is toranya. And it is a very fine, kind of like if you imagine making noodle dough and grating it. This was, actually my aunt and uncle gave me this package. They order it because it's hard to find.
Is it like a spatzel?
Spatzel is in German, toranya is in Hungarian. Okay. So I have some chicken stock here, and as the soup is cooking, I am going to cook this, and it cooks just like a noodle. It takes about 15 to 17 minutes. All right, so now this has been cooking for a half an hour.
Wow, look at that red. It's like a waterfall of red. Look at that.
The paprika.
Wow.
So I'm going to remove the chicken because I'm going to debone it. And you can use any type of chicken you want. I just bought chicken thighs, but you can have a cut up chicken. You can use drumsticks, wings, breast, whatever. So to add to this, I have 2 cups of sour cream, a cup of water, and 4 tablespoons of flour. This, I'm going to slowly add it into the mixture and whisk it in. And this gives it such a wonderful creamy flavor. So we have this. So what I will do is, now the toranya is cooked. You can see, so we'll put that on our plates and serve this over it. So I'm going to clean off the chicken, put the chicken back into the soup, let it cook for maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to get everything heated up again, and it'll be time to eat.
Okay, so the naan is a simple flatbread, and this is actually really simple to make, and it's quite satisfying. So I'm going to start out with a cup of warm water, and we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of honey.
Honey's good food.
It is. We're going to dissolve it in the water. That's the sugar that you need to help with this process. And then we're going to put in about 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, and we're going to let that sit for a little bit until it foams up. Okay, so this has totally foamed up. We're going to put it in the bottom of this mixer. Got the dough hook on. And this is 3 1/2 cups of flour. I've already added baking powder or baking soda, baking powder and salt to this. So, and I just want to give this salt a little bit of a plug. So if you want to spend $6 on a bag of salt like I do, this is great salt, Save Gris Organic French sea salt, and it's from Salt Sisters. It's just their standard salt. It is so good. I can't stop spending money on this salt. So we're going to put this on medium. And start adding the flour in. This is 1/4 cup of yogurt. I'm going to put that in there. And this is 1 egg. As you can see, it's starting to form a ball. We'll just let it get incorporated a little bit more. Okay. So this has been going for a little bit, 2 to 3 minutes. Before we get into that sticky stuff, just put a little bit of oil in a bowl. Put it around so when you put the ball of dough in here that it doesn't get stuck to the side. This is supposed to be sticky, so I'm going to pull it out. Get most of it out here. Form it into a ball, sticky as you can see. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just form it into a ball and you plop it in here. And then we are going to cover this with a towel, and you want to set it someplace warm. So I'm going to put it right down here where our heater is. So this has been sitting for 1 hour, and you can see by the size that it has grown. And so we're going to take this out and roll it out on a floured surface. So let's take this out. It's very light. It doesn't feel like a pie crust or anything like that. It feels very light. So we're going to roll it out on a floured surface. What we actually need to do is to cut this in 8 parts because you're going to make 8 naan. So it's a little hard to cut, but just stick with it, no pun intended. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to roll these into balls as much as possible. What you're going to do is just going to roll these out. You don't have to put too much pressure. You're going to roll them out to a pretty good sized circle just by kind of alternating. Oh, this is garlic infused butter. So I melted about 1/4 cup of butter with some smashed up garlic, and then I strained the garlic out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these. We're going to do the garlic butter on both sides, working kind of as quickly as we can. You're going to put this down. Okay, so it started to cook, and as you can see, we flipped it quickly here. First one is always a little bit lighter than the other ones in the batch, so these usually cook very quickly, a minute or 2 on each side. Okay, so you can see it's puffing up a little bit. It's starting to get these small little bubbles, and that's usually a good indication when you want to turn it. So that looks nice. You just repeat this for all 8 pieces, and then you transfer them into a kind of a little holding basket here with a towel so they keep warm, and then you eat them. Yay!
Okay, so we have chicken paprikash, tolernya,
Naan. We sprinkled a little bit of cilantro on top, which is optional.
so
And we have an Argentinian rosé. Should we clank first?
We should clank.
Yep.
We deserve it. Cheers.
Nice.
Oh, very good.
Oh my gosh, serve us.
So here, let me.
And I'll break this naan. I'll break bread with you or for you.
I put a little butter on the tortilla. A little butter is always better.
Wow, this smells so great. And again, this is a Hungarian dish. The naan is Indian, or countries that are surrounding India. A lot of countries have a flatbread, but it's also just so good to soak up any of the juice.
So and the juice is the best part of this. I mean,
here I go. I'm just go ahead and talk. I'm just gonna.
Oh, I'm gonna eat. Oh my gosh, the naan, homemade naan. I don't think I've ever had it.
So again, the easy part of this is that it just fries right up in your pan. You don't need to do anything special. You just let it rise for 1 hour.
Oh.
And you can use it as toast the next day and put something sweet on it.
Right.
This is so good.
This is wonderful.
Until next time.
Well, listen, we will have the recipes on Facebook. Please like us and follow us on YouTube, and we hope to see you at the next episode.
So in a second class of rosé today, we're talking about our favorite kitchens. So my two favorite kitchens are my grandparents' kitchens, hands down. So they were very different kitchens. One of them was a big country kitchen in a cottage in a second home in Canada. Every time you walked into that kitchen, you smelled butter. There was a big pantry, there was paneling. I have only a few pictures of that kitchen because people didn't take pictures of their kitchens back then like they do now. But so many amazing meals made in that country style kitchen with a big table. And then my other grandmother's kitchen, 1960s kitchen, modern for that time. Nothing special about it. She had her 1950s refrigerator for many years into the 1980s. And when you slammed the door, it just seemed like you were shutting a vault. Amazing food that came out of that kitchen with very little kind of accoutrement. It was just very plain. And it just, it reminds us that we spend so much money on our kitchens now, and really it's kind of, and we obsess over them, and it's the wrong obsession. There are other things that you should be obsessing about with your kitchen in terms of food and friends. How about you?
Two kitchens that really come to mind immediately are my grandparents' kitchen, and my parents' kitchen. So, my grandparents' kitchen was small, but it size-wise it was small, but you could pack people around the table, enjoy a wonderful meal, play game of cards, and the smell of coffee was always in the air. And then my parents' kitchen was a little more open concept, but it was an old farmhouse. But the meals and the pies and the sausage that was made and the pierogies and everything. I mean, there was the wood burning stove, so it was. I
ate many meals in that kitchen.
So it was the heart of the home.
Yep. And I'll just say something real quick before we end, is that, both of our families are immigrant families. And these are people who, I hate to keep going back to like the marble and the expensive kitchen, but these are people that knew kind of what a kitchen was for and how to make people feel welcome in their kitchen. And they did it with such ease and with such, class, with very little money.
Yes.
Yep. So it's a lesson to all of us.
So just think about your favorite kitchen. Maybe it's yours. Maybe you do have a great, fantastic kitchen, and that's awesome. Just make good memories. Just remember the memories and make good memories in your kitchen.
Yeah, and don't worry about spending a lot of money on it.
Cheers. Cheers.